All right, let's dive into a mega project happening in Vietnam that, on the surface, just doesn't seem to make any sense. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar sea bridge that leads to a tiny, completely uninhabited island. But trust me, this is way more than just a bridge. It's a massive strategic statement written in steel and concrete, and it's about to change a whole lot more than just the local skyline.
So first, let's just get a sense of the scale here. This isn't some small town bridge. We are talking about a structure that's going to stretch for nearly 18 kilometers. That's about 11 miles, right across the open ocean. I mean, that is just a staggering feat of engineering, no matter how you look at it.
And get this, it's not only going to be the longest sea bridge in all of Vietnam, but it'll rank as the third longest in Southeast Asia. But here's the key. It's not being built in a vacuum. It's the centerpiece of what they're calling a golden chain of projects, which includes a brand new deepwater port and an 80-kilometer expressway. They're all designed to work together as one big, cohesive system.
Okay, but this brings us to the big mystery, right? This incredible multi-billion-dollar project connects the mainland to Hòn Khoai, a little island that's only 4 square kilometers. Right now, it's just a military outpost. There are 0 civilians living there. So the question is, why on earth would you spend a fortune building a superhighway to literally nowhere? Well, the answer is way more complex than you might think. This bridge was never about connecting people to a new vacation spot. Nope. This is a very calculated move with a 3-pronged purpose that cleverly weaves together economics, military defense, and some serious geopolitics. So this one single project is designed to do 3 huge things all at once. First, it's an economic launchpad built to completely unlock a region's potential. Second, it's basically an unsinkable fortress that will project military power. And third, it's a geopolitical chess piece, and it's meant to completely reshape trade and influence across all of Southeast Asia. Okay, so let's tackle that first one, the economic angle. You see, for decades, Vietnam's Mekong Delta, which is an incredibly productive region, has been facing this one giant logistical nightmare.
Think about it. The area is an absolute agricultural powerhouse, right? But it has no deepwater port. That means all of its goods, we're talking rice, fruit, seafood, they all have to be loaded onto smaller boats and shipped to faraway hubs, sometimes as far as Singapore or Malaysia. Only then can they get loaded onto the giant international ships. This creates a massive bottleneck, adding a ton of time and money to everything.
The new port at Hòn Khoai is designed to just shatter that bottleneck. This thing is a true deep water port, engineered to handle enormous cargo ships, up to 250,000 deadweight tonnage.
So you might be seeing DWT and thinking, what on earth is that? Well, it's basically the industry standard for a ship's total carrying capacity, and that includes everything: the cargo, the fuel, the crew, all of it. A capacity of 250,000 DWT, that puts this port in an absolutely world-class category. It means it can welcome some of the biggest container ships on the entire planet.
And what this means, for the very first time, is that goods from the Mekong Delta can be loaded directly onto these huge motherships and sent straight to markets in Europe and North America. It completely bypasses the regional competition, it slashes logistics costs, and it just makes that whole region of Vietnam way more competitive on the world stage. But as you can probably guess, the economic story is only one part of this. The second pillar of this whole strategy is military. And it really all comes down to Hòn Khoai's supercritical location, sitting right at the entrance to the Gulf of Thailand. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Vietnam's Minister of Defense, General Phan Van Giang, put it perfectly. He said, the whole point is to turn Hòn Khoai into a strategic anchor, to make it a natural part of the mainland. It stops being a remote outpost and becomes a fortified extension of the country itself. This really shows you the bridge's dual purpose. The Vietnamese word for it is Pháo Đài, which literally means fortress. You see, the bridge allows for the incredibly fast deployment of troops and heavy military equipment, something that used to rely completely on slow ships. This creates a powerful defensive shield, securing vital shipping lanes and projecting stability in a really critical part of the world. All right, and that brings us to the final layer, the geopolitical chessboard. Because this bridge isn't just about Vietnam's internal goals, it is a direct move in a high-stakes regional game that involves its neighbors. And specifically, it's a pretty clever strategic counter to Cambodia's proposed Funan Techo Canal. Now, while that canal gives Cambodia its own sea access, it can only handle smaller vessels. That means for big international shipments, goods still have to be transferred. Hòn Khoai, on the other hand, is a one-stop shop for those giant motherships, which gives it a huge logistical advantage.
And this is where the paradox comes in. For Cambodian exports to actually be cost competitive on the world stage, the most efficient route might still involve sending them through Vietnam's Hòn Khoai port. So, ironically, Vietnam's new port could become essential for Cambodia's trade, kind of undermining the very independence the Funan Canal was built to create.
And Vietnam is moving fast. You can see it on the timeline. The Hòn Khoai project is scheduled to be up and running before other major regional game changers, like Thailand's really ambitious Kra land bridge. This is a proactive play to capture new trade flows and lock itself in as the go-to logistics hub before that map gets redrawn. So, when you stack these three layers on top of each other, the economic, the military, and the geopolitical, you start to realize this is so much more than just a bridge. It's ambition made tangible in concrete and steel.
First, it's like a real-world university for Vietnam's engineers, a place to master the tech they'll need for even bigger projects down the road. Second, it's an economic catalyst, an engine designed to spark a whole new wave of investment in the Mekong Delta. And third, it's a permanent physical declaration of sovereignty, a statement of control over its maritime territory.
When it comes down to it, this whole project is the physical embodiment of a core national strategy they have in Vietnam. It's called Vun Ra Bien Lun, which means to reach for the Great Sea. It's all about confidently moving beyond the coastline to engage with the world's oceans and to shape your own destiny.
In the end, the Hòn Khoai project isn't just about pouring concrete. It's about laying the foundation for a whole new era. It is a bold, multifaceted play that repositions an entire region. And it really leaves us with one critical question. Is this the anchor that will secure Vietnam's position as a major maritime power for the 21st century? The race is on, and you can be sure the world is watching.